Good evening. Welcome to South Asia Newsline. I'm Lipakshi Khurana. Here are the top stories we're tracking for you on Tuesday, the 19th of September. India calls Pakistan face of global terrorism at UNHRC in Geneva. Myanmar Suu Kyi condemns all rights violations in Rakhine province. And Nepal celebrates second anniversary of new constitution's promulgation. And now for all the details, Indian Foreign Minister Sushma Swaraj on Monday held bilateral meetings with leaders attending the 72nd session of United Nations General Assembly in New York. Swaraj, who is on a week-long visit to the United States, will address the UNGA on September 23rd.
Indian Foreign Minister Sushma Swaraj held bilateral meetings with leaders attending the 72nd session of United Nations General Assembly in New York on Monday. Besides meeting foreign ministers of 5 countries, Swaraj also met Prime Minister of Bangladesh Sheikh Hasina. However, both the leaders did not discuss the issue of Rohingya Muslims. Swaraj also met United Arab Emirates Foreign Minister Sheikh Abdullah bin Zayed Al Nahyan and discussed prospects for more foreign direct investment or FDI from UAE into India. Earlier at a trilateral meeting with United States and Japan, Swaraj made it a point that North Korea's proliferation linkages must be explored.
Moving on, India on Monday slammed Pakistan's statement at the 36th UNHRC session and dubbed Islamabad as the face of international terrorism.
India on Monday lambasted Pakistan at the 36th United Nations Human Rights Council or UNHRC session and called Islamabad the face of international terrorism. Exercising India's right of reply to Pakistan's speech, Indian diplomat from the Permanent Mission of India in Geneva said the foremost challenge to the stability of the region is the scourge of terrorism. He said Pakistan's unsolicited comments alleging rights violations in Indian Kashmir carried no credibility.
Pakistan has been the face of international terrorism. Even the Foreign Minister of Pakistan has admitted recently that internationally banned outfits, including Lashkar-e-Taiba and Jaish-e-Mohammed, are operating from within Pakistan. In the wake of growing international concern, Pakistan must shut down its terrorist manufacturing units and bring the perpetrators of terrorism to justice.
New Delhi also raised 2 issues of concern: Pakistan-backed terrorism in the Kashmir Valley and human rights violations in Balochistan.
Meanwhile, the Baloch, Sindhi and Mohajir activists slammed Pakistan at the United Nations Human Rights Council for human rights violations on its people. They also sought international community's intervention into the matter.
The Baloch, Sindhi and Mujahir activists on Monday highlighted the atrocities carried out by Pakistan on its people at the United Nations Human Rights Council session in Geneva. They also raised the issue of human rights abuses in southwestern Balochistan province and how Baloch and Sindhi people were subjected to torture, killings and enforced disappearances for raising their voices. Addressing the council, activist and Baloch representative to UNHRC Mehran Mari said that thousands of Baloch people have disappeared without any trace.
The Pakistani army pursues its notorious policy of eliminating the Baloch people from their own homeland. Thousands of Baloch people have disappeared without trace in Balochistan. Thousands of mutilated dead bodies of previously missing Baloch people have been recovered across Balochistan.
Lakul Luhana, Secretary General of World Sindhi Congress, also highlighted the plight of Sindhi people.
We want to draw the Council's attention to our deep concern about the ongoing enforced abductions of Sindhi political and human rights activists by Pakistani security agencies. The enforced disappearances have been an ongoing practice in Sindh for the last several years.
Meanwhile, activist and lawyer of MQM Adil Ghaffar, representing the Mujahid community, sought assistance to stop the ongoing massacre against the community in Karachi city.
In news from Afghanistan, war-torn Afghanistan is famous for its saffron industry worldwide. Looking at its potential in generating income and employment, the government plans to boost the saffron sector by 2018. Saffron growers have welcomed the move.
Afghan Ministry of Agriculture, Irrigation and Livestock, or MAIL, has said that it's planning to expand saffron cultivation in the country. The move aims to expand the cultivation in about 3,000 hectares of land next year to boost the domestic economy.
در جریان از اینکه زعفران کاشته شد ما نزدیک پروسه رفع حاصل متوجه شدیم که در مجموع 2811 هکتار زمین زیر کشت رفته و این علاقمندی دهقانا را علاقمندی مردم و توجه دهقانا را به این نشان میده که
Meanwhile, saffron exporters in the country welcomed the move but said government needs to provide more support to the sector. The exporters have called on government to improve international marketing strategies in order to open more exporting options for them.
خوشبختانه توجه دولت تا به حال بسیار زیاد طرف تولید زعفران بوده و این ترویج بسیار زیاد شده. تولید افغانستان سال گذشته در حدود 6200 کیلوگرم بوده و امسال توقع میره که بیشتر از 8000 کیلوگرم باشه و کشت زعفران امسال به صورت بی‌پیشینه توسعه یافته.
Currently, saffron is cultivated in 31 provinces across Afghanistan, which it exports to some countries, including the UAE and India.
Myanmar's leader Aung San Suu Kyi on Tuesday said her country was committed to restore peace in the troubled Rakhine province. She condemned any human rights violations and said anyone responsible would face the law.
Myanmar State Councillor Aung San Suu Kyi on Tuesday condemned any human rights violations in the troubled Rakhine province and said anyone responsible would face the law. The Nobel Peace Laureate's remarks came in her first address to the nation since attacks by Rohingya Muslim insurgents on August 25th sparked a military response. The military crackdown has forced more than 300,000 Rohingyas into neighbouring Bangladesh and other countries.
We condemn all human rights violations and unlawful violence. We are committed to the restoration of peace, stability and rule of law throughout the state.
Suu Kyi said she felt deeply for the suffering of everyone caught up in the conflict in the region, not just Rohingya Muslims but other communities who had to suffer.
We feel deeply for the suffering of all the people who have been caught up in the conflict. Those who have had to flee their homes are many, not just Muslims and Rakhines, but also small minority groups.
The United Nations has branded the military operation in the western province as ethnic cleansing. Suu Kyi did not address that accusation but said her government was committed to the rule of law.
Bangladesh's Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina has said she does not expect help from the United States in Rohingya refugees issue. She said the US President's stance over refugees is clear, so she cannot ask for any assistance.
Bangladesh Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina on Monday said she does not expect any help from US President Donald Trump in the issue of Rohingya refugees flooding into her country from Myanmar. As Trump left an event he hosted at the United Nations on reforming the world body, Hasina said she stopped him and they talked about the issue. But she expects no help as Trump's stance on refugees was clear.
He already declared his mind. We know his mind. So why I should ask? If he doesn't feel that these people are distressed people, they are living in disarray, they need assistance. If he doesn't feel, then I cannot ask any assistance.
Hasina, who is due to address the annual gathering of world leaders at the United Nations General Assembly on Thursday, is expected to speak on the issue.
Moving on to news from Nepal. Nepal on Tuesday celebrated the second anniversary of the promulgation of Constitution with gusto. The day is marked as the National Day on the historical occasion of the promulgation of the Nepal Constitution through Constituent Assembly in 2015.
Nepal on Tuesday celebrated the second anniversary of the promulgation of Constitution, commenced by a people-elected body that was achieved after 6 decades. The government marked the special day by organizing various programs in capital Kathmandu. Nepal's President Bidya Devi Bhandari, Prime Minister Sher Bahadur Deoba along with officials were present at the special function. The constitution promulgation took place in 2015 and since then it was surrounded with controversy, though it was endorsed by 90% of the lawmakers. The Madhes-based parties came forth protesting against the constitution, blaming it of discrimination in the southern plains of the country. Despite the controversy, Nepal has successfully carried out the three-tier local polls and is scheduled to hold the provincial and parliamentary elections in November and December this year.
A three-day water sports festival at the iconic Dal Lake in India's northern Jammu and Kashmir province is attracting visitors. Currently underway, the festival saw hundreds of youth participate in the event with great energy and enthusiasm.
Hundreds of youth in India's northern Jammu and Kashmir province participated in water sports festival Jasn-e-Dal on Monday. The three-day event, which kicked off on Monday, will witness sporting activities like dragon boat, canoe polo, water ski, water polo swimming, etc. Organized at the iconic Dal Lake, the event aims to engage the youth in healthy competitions of sports and shun arms and drugs and also promote tourism.
These activities definitely contribute towards peace, and I have no doubt about it that children will have one day a lovely smile in this smiling valley.
इससे हमारा टूरिज्म प्रमोशन हो रही है। आप देख लीजिए कि कितना अच्छा डल झील हमारे पास है। अगर देखा जाएगा, we people have a natural water resources, बहुत flat water and wild water. अगर इस water front को हम ऊपर लेवल पे highlight करेंगे, मुझे वो दिन दूर नहीं है कि जहाँ international tournaments conduct हो सकते हैं।
Cross-border militancy for the past few years have affected daily lives of the people in the region, and events like such helps them live a normal life.
Hundreds of devotees thronged River Ganges in northern and eastern India on Tuesday on the occasion of Mahalya Amavasya, a day dedicated to departed ancestors.
Hindus in India's eastern Kolkata city took a holy dip in River Ganges on the occasion of Mahalaya Amavasya on Tuesday. Mahalaya Amavasya is considered a highly auspicious day for performing rituals for ancestors and forefathers. This day marks the end of the period of Pitru Paksh, during which Hindus remember their loved ones and ancestors. Meanwhile, Hindus in India's northern Varanasi city also gathered at the banks of the river Ganges to offer prayers in the memory of their departed ancestors.
Well, that's all we have for you from South Asia this evening. Now our viewers can watch the show on SouthAsiaNewsline.com. You can also visit us on Facebook.com/AsAsiaNewsline and follow us on Twitter @AsAsiaNewsline. Well, that's all in tonight's edition. We'll see you same time tomorrow. Good night.